Good afternoon, all out there in YouTube land. I'm Julian Detroit Driver Blue. Um, Welcome to another edition of my startup YouTube channel. I guess you could call it the beta Detroit Driver Blue channel, because I'm trying to get things all situated on here and learn how to exactly make sure I'm doing this thing right, and not boring the dog daylights out of everybody. Well, Detroit Driver Blue is a channel devoted to the Metro Detroit rideshare industry and devoted to helping out and reflecting on rideshare practices. And it definitely does not mean to claim any expertise, does not claim to be any sort of instruction manual. It is definitely a one driver perspective on his experience doing rideshare in the Metro Detroit area. Case in point, name of the channel, Julian's Detroit Driver Blue, meaning it's me. It's not, I don't represent anybody, don't represent Uber, don't represent Lyft. This is just my thing. This is what I do. It's all I do. There's no interviewing going on. There's no live streaming going on. This is me just starting out, and in no way, shape, or form. If I still learning how to do this stuff, definitely need to be uh, definitely not able to be doing any live streaming or anything like that. So, and would not be doing anything as such. Um, Especially even when there's been a lot of talk about it in the market right now. So just wanted to spend a little bit of time, a little moment here in my space here talking about that issue. Um, Michigan is a one-sided consent state, meaning when one person in a conversation gives consent for recording, um, theoretically, that person legally, civilly is covered unless you're using it to slander them directly, or in a similar way, you're doing it for libel, uh, you're doing it to intimidate or extort money from them. That's a totally different kind of a situation. But for the most part, under Michigan law, last time I had looked it up, which is within the last year or two, I believe it was in the last year when I was exploring the idea of recording individuals, and this had come into play in my previous profession as a police officer that I retired from. That, in a sense, you know, is it right that people are recorded and everything like that? Well, based on the public good, yes, you would think that, it's a public situation, so you would think it's valid. Well, in Michigan, it's one-sided anyway, so it never really mattered whether or not the person feels as though they don't want their privacy violated or something like that. When you're being recorded by a police officer, it falls under a different kind of an understanding of why video recording is necessary. But also, it squarely fits into the civil law understanding of the idea that the state, so for the longest time, has been a one-sided, one consent or one party consent state for recording. Anyway, now that we've really spent too much time on that, just wanted to get to a couple other areas. One area being um, how much time we're supposed to spend on the road. I think it's very important and needs to be said that no longer than you can safely feel like you can operate your vehicle is how long you should be spending on the road. And especially when the average person gets really tired after driving a car for only 4 or 5 hours. I mean, that's the way it was for me, even on long trips. Yeah, I could go 6 to 7 hours and do interstate, if I needed to go someplace and overnight. Yeah, I could do a 10-hour drive, if I wanted to. But ideally, that's not the case, and lawfully speaking, you can no longer drive. I mean, you cannot drive more than 12 hours without getting 6 hours of sleep. 12 hours on the app, and then getting 6 hours of sleep. That being said, just because it's 12 hours of monitored and recorded time on the app on, okay, my issue with that is you're still driving the car, so as a professional driver, you're still out driving around. And so you need to take into account that time as well. From a personal standpoint, I think it's very important that we're not out here trying to road boss the situation, and we're not out trying to push our limits. Okay, just for a little dime. I mean, I know our bills need it, and I know we got to take care of business out here, but hours on the road are hours on the road, whether on the app or off the app. So you might be on the app only for 6 hours, but you probably got 8 to 9 hours driving around because you probably took a break for an hour or two, and maybe you were just driving around between pings. But I think it's important for the safety of your passengers and yourself, and for pedestrians, people you're going to be coming into contact with who are going to be at the side of the road, you know, using a crosswalk in front of you. If you're not paying attention, something bad could happen. And so let's drive safe out here. That's my point. So that's pretty much one of the things I wanted to cover. Another thing I wanted to cover, I know this particular episode is getting a little bit long here, but I want to cover cancellations. Canceling on a rider is not good unless you have a really good reason, such as a safety issue. There's any number of reasons why one might want to cancel. There's personal issue, emergency issue where you have to take care of something at home. Handle it. You cancel the ride. You can always, deal with it later and explain the cancellation or whatever the case is. But I think it's important, just for professionalism's sake, to avoid canceling these rides, especially when you're first starting out. You can keep your evaluation score, your star rating high. Things could be good for you if you get in the habit of just not canceling. Again, not an expert out here on this. I know acceptance rate is important, but it's not the only thing that's important. So, anyway, that's about it. That's really all I wanted to cover in this particular episode. I stopped do some personal shopping at this Home Depot here. Now I'm going to be hitting it, getting back out on the road. So, with that, God bless and be safe. Be good to the Motor City. Peace.